What is going on, fam? We're back here again on another Monday Bully Live. And today, we're going to be talking about how to choose a pup. But to make it even more interesting, and in order to give you guys different angles, we actually have a special guest along with Gaines Bullies, Mike Green and Donald Gaines. We're also going to have on here Mr. Christopher Nightingale. Going to jump in here with us. And we're going to be talking, man. But before we do, real quick, let me just shout out to my dude, Furman Broom over here. We got Michael Higginson over here, number love. Drippy Smooth, Drippy 65, Monday Night Bully Live, QBN family. I hope everyone had a good weekend. You know it, man. You know it. And he also wants to remind you about one thing. Hit that like button, man. Hurry up. Isaiah Feliciano, good afternoon, fam. You got it, bro. Big Beach Bullies checking in. All right, what's up, everybody? Thoroughbred, Bull Terriers. We got Gary. There you go. That's how I like it, bro. Nice and simple. Gary. We got Ghost Dog Kennels in the house. We got Felipe Hernandez Rondon, Inserata, Quiptown Dogos. We got Naven Bullies. Big hello from Ireland. We got Ireland up in the house. Lewis Harris. What's going on, man? Black Bottom Bullies. All right. Peace Bully fam. Detroit is here. Let me bring my co-host up in here. Let me bring my guys. What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's happening? What's happening?
Hey, man, number love, man. Just getting ready to talk about puppies, talk about what are deal breakers, what do we look at when we're about to get a pup. I mean, Donald over here, he looks pissed off, man. He looks like he's pissed about talking about picking pups, man. Number love, man. So listen, let's start the convo out with a very simple question, right? And so, Mike, I want you to answer it, and Donald, I want you to answer it, but I don't want you to answer it together. I want you to answer it separate. So, Donald, I'm going to ask you first. When you're picking a pup, what is a deal breaker for you?
Yeah, deal breaker. I think on the deal breaker for me would be the head shape. You know, I'm kind of trying to weed pups out and say I'm looking at a litter of 8. I'm not necessarily picking the pup at first, but I'm trying to weed a couple out that, man, that wasn't the head I had intended to happen for the breeding. So I would say that's the first deal breaker at a pretty young age.
Oh, well, be a little more intricate. Are we talking about a snippy snout?
Well, if I wanted to do the breeding to change a snippy snout into something a little more bully, then yeah, that's what it would be. A longer snout, very narrow muzzle. I'd look at the width of their eye teeth, and it was narrow. I know that I didn't do what I intended to do on that breeding with that pup.
Okay, so Mike Green, what is a deal breaker for you when it's time to pick a puppy? What do you see that immediately makes you turn and run the opposite direction?
For me, I guess something. I'll tell you what. For me, a deal breaker, like when you put the breedings together, the male and the female, and what you're trying to gain. If I'm not gaining that, like more bone or chest, whatever we're trying to add, that automatic, I eliminate that pup out of the equation. But like a king tail for sure would definitely be something I wouldn't that eliminate a pup for
You're
me.
cool. You're cool with an underbite then.
Yeah.
You're cool with an undescended testicle.
Oh, what? You get all technical, man. Hey, man, an underbite, yes. It depends on the level of the bite.
I'm talking about a testicle that didn't drop. You got a puppy walking around with one testicle.
No, man. That right there, man, that's something that we had dealt with.
Okay. And what'd you do?
It happened to be at a show, man, and we didn't know he had one testicle, man.
No.
Yeah,
the judge
man.
had to tell you?
So I was in there, and the puppy was kicking butt, man. It was a phenomenal puppy. Judge went back there. Second judge went back there and didn't feel that the second nut. I mean, she really checked, and she go, "Hey, man, your dog got dropped one testicle." And I was like, "What?"
Ooh.
Yeah, man. And I hollered at Donald.
Yeah.
I said, Donald, we got one testicle, man. And Donald came in, man. We pulled a pup to the side, man. Donald rubbed that other testicle down, man.
Oh, he rubbed it down.
He
So
rubbed
you're
it
the
down.
testicle rubber, Donald.
Oh man, I had my hands over his ears, blowing in his mouth. I was doing anything I could.
Hey, so that dog name ended up being Dos Huevos.
Dos huevos. Hey,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Instead of Dos Equis.
That wasn't a pup that we had for forever. I mean, it was a pup back where we were just getting the pup to us, met at the show.
Okay.
And so we hadn't noticed that yet, but we'd only had the dog for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, man. Listen, let me bring on Mr. Chris Nightingale, man. I understand. Well, I'm going to let him introduce himself. But if I understand correctly, he's got show judging experience and that sort of thing. And I definitely want to get his input as to what you guys are saying. So let me bring him on. Without further ado, fam, let's say what's up, Mr. Chris Nightingale. What's up, Chris? Can you hear us?
Chris.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, yeah.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're doing good, man. So listen, Chris, we're talking about, I'm sure you've been hearing in the back, we're talking about what's a deal breaker as far as, when you're about to get a puppy. What would be a deal breaker for you, man?
So I would have to agree with the headpiece, but not only just the headpiece. For me, like when I see a pup comes out, I'm looking for certain features. I'm not looking for like just quality out of the pup immediately. I mean, it's a puppy. It's just a newborn, but I am looking for a certain size, and I'm looking for a certain headpiece that pretty much gives me the feature of, okay, this dog is going to have a nice top skull. This dog is going to have a nice muzzle.
Okay.
Sometimes you can see the wrinkle on the muzzle where it's gonna kind of be like a short, kind of smashed up muzzle, but eventually a pup is going to grow. So it's not going to have a smashed up face, but it's going to have a shorter muzzle than what I was trying to correct originally when I did the breeding.
Okay, so let me throw a couple of different things going on with the muzzle, and you tell me if they're deal breakers or not, because I'm trying to get to specifics here. So if you see a pup that's snippy, is that an immediate deal breaker for you?
Yes.
For me, depending on the top skull, because the top skull is going to play a part. If you see a snippy puppy at the beginning, if he has no top skull to go with that snippy, then I'm kind of like,
Okay. So he obviously, whenever we're talking about a snippy pup, right, there's going to be a lack of underjaw. So you're okay with a lack of underjaw as long as you got the top skull you want, as long as you got the stop at 90 degree, you're good.
No.
Okay. That's what I'm getting at. So for you, the lack of underjaw would be a deal breaker.
For sure.
Okay. All right. How about an underbite? Would that be a deal breaker for you?
It's definitely a deal breaker on a keeper for sure.
Okay. Good deal. Now, listen, we got questions here on this channel. Obviously, we got members. I'm going to start bringing them up here, and I want to hear the insight from you guys. I mean, I'm definitely going to chime in with what I do, but I definitely want you guys to jump in here and answer these questions as well. So, first question up, we got Derek Hall asking, when do you see flaws? Says, I'm not seeing many. Some have less mass and spread, but straight up flaws, I'm not seeing them. They're at 10 weeks right now. How soon are you able to verify flaws? Any one of you?
Every week you're getting a better view of what that pup is becoming. I mean, it's great to not have a totally flawed litter that's having things you can't see, but I think as you do it more and more and you're comparing litters, your eye gets to see things it couldn't see a litter ago. So I think if I was gonna go get a 6-8 week old pup from somebody, I mean, it'd be worth the time to ask a friend. I mean, if I lived near Chris, I would say, Chris, could you come help me look at this puppy, and maybe we could together see something, because it took me several litters before I could really identify the head pieces early, you know, and see what I can see now.
I
Go
I
ahead.
think
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think probably about 12 weeks. I mean, you can start seeing something, but at 10 weeks, if you got a consistent, you know, litter, you're not seeing flaws. Like Donald go over it, I go over it, we'll call CC over, we'll call Scott. We have a group of people that come in and we ask them their picks without telling us, just do an
Right.
evaluation. So, but like Donald said, we've seen enough litters now that we're comparing litter to litter. Like we could tell you out of this litter here, this one puppy had the best gait, and we got the top 3 out of 8 litters now that had the best gait. Or this one had the best head. This one had the best bone. We can tell you what litter that came out, and we comparing them litter to litter. So,
Yeah, but that's not what we're asking. What's being asked by Derek Hall is, how soon are you being able to see flaws?
I think he should be able to see some flaws right now at 10 weeks. He should definitely be seeing some difference from pup to pup, and it might not be a flaw. It might be one is just a little more classic, one is a little more standard.
Okay.
I think it would help him if he would video those pups just walking around playing, because it takes a real low view to see who has the better chest development.
Man, you know what, Donald? Every time you speak, bro, you're subtle, but you're devastating, bro. You just hit it on the head. I agree with you 100% in that you got to have a real low view. You got to get down or raise them up if you have to and stack them so that you can really see the chest development. I typically like to take pictures at 6, 8, and then at 10. And you're able to see, like for me, the biggest thing I concentrate on is chest to shoulder ratio. And you can really see if the chest is coming in, if you're able to take pictures in these types of sequences, rather than wait until they're 10 weeks old and try to line them up and try to figure it out then, because you're not able to see prior development at that point. Let me bring up Chris.
I was gonna say, like a side stack is really gonna give you what your dog can be. And I'm not talking about stretching them out. I'm not talking about leaning them forward. I'm just talking about letting the dog in the side, getting the side view of the stack of the dog, and seeing what his structure is actually looking like at that age. Another thing, like Mike Green said, is movement. You can see if by flaws looking at a puppy, you can see flaws in his movement by how he gaits from the rear in the back, how he gaits in the front. Is he flopping his arms out? Is he paddling, or is he actually pushing off of his paws in a strong movement? That type of deal. Those are flaws you can recognize around 8 to 10 weeks. Dogs are gonna.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's a slight delay. Go ahead, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. I was really just saying, like, pups are going to change dramatically each and every time. Like every 1 to 2 weeks, they're going to change.
Absolutely. And also, a lot of times people like to put a lot of emphasis on size. And one thing I tell people all the time is, what you need to do is every 2 weeks, go ahead and weigh your pups, and you're going to start noticing that they're going to take turns as to who the biggest pup is. It's up and down, and they're developing at different rates as well. These are things that you definitely want to make notice of. One thing I want you guys, go ahead, Mike.
I just need to say, I thought I answered this question, but I want to say you have to know what you're evaluating and looking for. I mean, you're going to find flaws in every pup. You know what I mean? You're not going to find perfect pups, but you need to educate yourself on the standard or your yard. You know what I mean?
Or what you're looking for, because not always are we looking for the same thing. You may have a yard full of excellent looking dogs that lack head, and you're going into a litter just looking for that one thing specifically. Real quick, guys, I have Furman Broom. Now, Furman, from Broom Bullies, he has been a long time fan of ours. He's been a long time supporter. He's been a member of the channel. So we got in a conversation last night. He sent me some pictures and videos. So I want to go ahead and evaluate these pups that he sent pictures on and video on. He's saying he's having a hard time picking, right? So right now they're 5 weeks old. I know they're a little bit too early for us to even, contemplate as to what's there. But let's do him a favor and let's try and speak on what we're able to see, what's there for us right now. All right. So okay. First up, I'm going to bring this puppy up. Here you go. Can you see him?
Yes. Okay.
Talk to me, Donald. Talk to me, Mike. Chris, what are you seeing? What are you seeing with this pup?
It just stands out as a eye catcher, to start with. I mean, his head ratio to his shoulders, the back is certainly not long. It's looking everything you'd want a puppy to look like at that point. I like that he doesn't have him overstretched. We can get a true view of what the rear angulation is looking like. And, from that snapshot, I certainly wouldn't rule that pup out as a fine looking specimen.
What do you think about his stop? I like his stop a lot. It looks like a 90-degree stop at this point. What do you guys assert from there, just from this picture?
No, he got good top score. He got a good stop. Like Donald said, like looking at that pup, where the tail is setting, probably could go a little lower on the tail set back there. But other than that, the bone and everything. But I like his stop, and I like the late. I had to see the puppy. You got a front view of that pup?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I do have another picture. Let me see if I can bring that one up here. Hold on a second. Let me just go ahead and remove this one. Here you go. This is his front shot of that pup. Anything in particular that's calling out to you?
No, I think you could maybe get a little better picture of that with maybe his head not turned sideways or whatever might give us a little better shot. But you could see his chest drop kind of on that other, and man, he just looks like one I would sure keep my eye on, because he's just striking. He's catching your eye.
It's
one thing I would definitely do on this particular pup, and I know he's got his head moved, and it may be unfair, but I would definitely be looking at chest development. I feel like for as tiny as this little thing is at 5 weeks, he kind of seems to have the shoulder development a little bit more advanced than chest. That doesn't mean anything at this point. This puppy's only 5 weeks old, right? But I would just simply keep my eye on that, because if that chest development catches up to that shoulder development, I think that's where the magic starts to happen, in my opinion. Definitely. Well, you got anything on this, Chris? I can't hear you, bro. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The mic is out.
Yeah.
Hey, just you have to leave the room and come back in.
Yeah, get out and come back in, man. Get out and come back in.
And the audio work.
Yeah.
Somebody must have called you.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Meanwhile, as we're waiting for Chris, let me go ahead and
that's a beautiful pup.
Yeah, he's a beautiful pup. The only thing I would keep my eye on, like I said, is the chest. I'll probably take a picture of it at 6 weeks, then at 8, then at 10. If that chest developed, then we're talking keeper. We're talking, we're talking possible keeper at that point. Let me see what other questions we got in here, man. We got McBully Kennel. My pup is 7 months old. Pocket. She's allergic to Origin puppy food. I'm switching to raw. Do you think she will have a reaction to raw chicken, or was it just processed food? We're not going to know, McBully, until you switch her. And if within 10 to 14 days things have not gotten better, they've actually gotten worse, then you can start thinking that it is the chicken. But there's no way knowing until you fully make the switch. Drippy 65, Raul, what did you see out of Triple Champ 305? when he was 10 weeks old? What made you keep him? Let me bring up Triple Champ 305 over here. Here he is. That's my boy 30. Listen, one of the things I was looking for at the time, again, this is where it's important where you're at in the development of your yard. At the time, I wanted to lock in clean fronts, tight feet, good top line. This boy has all of the above, in my opinion. Not just my opinion, it's also the UKC's, USBR's, and ABKC's opinion. I do feel he lacks a little head. I do. And we're getting ready to add that into my camp. But at the time, I wanted what you're looking at right there, which is nice and clean. Whenever I took him into the ring, whenever we took him into the ring, because I didn't handle him, I had a handler. Anytime he's whenever they line up the dogs and you have him stacked, he would just shine because top line was on point, reangulation is on point. Dogs, his strut, whenever he's pacing, like his top line, you can literally put a cup of water there and you're not going to spill a drop. So I saw a lot of that stuff when he was a puppy. And luckily for me, it turned out to be the way I saw it. Because remember, there's that 30% that you might see, and it doesn't ever end up developing the way you want it to. Luckily for us, that was the case with this boy right here. I do have a video of a puppy, Furman. Just a second here. I'm gonna put another this one of Furman's pups. Let's see what we see here, guys. I can tell you, I love that short back.
I'll replay it.
Yeah, here we go. Nice short back. Got rear angulation for as young as it is.
Yeah. Good looking puppy.
That's a good looking puppy.
Yeah.
Quality pup.
I like I like how he's working with him. I mean, the pup is relaxed, the pup is calm, but he's energized by the bait. So that's a great job. Good job, Furman.
Now, are they both males or is that a male and a female?
Oh man. Hold on a second. I got Hollywood. What you got, Hollywood?
He said that other one was female, and that last video was a 3-week-old pup.
That was a 3-week-old pup. Yeah, you can tell it's real.
I think they're females. I think he said they're all females.
Both are females?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Good deal. Well, for those of you that are watching us, man, so far that's what we're thinking about his pups. You might want to get a hold with Furman. That's him down there. His name, Broom Bullies. If you're interested in a pup, definitely reach out to him. I'm pretty sure he'll definitely, take care of you once you contact him. I got Mike Higginson saying, well, I'm waiting for Chris. He's having a hard time coming back. Mike Higginson saying, I agree with a little of what everyone said, but for me, structure is important. At this point, head, muzzle, bone, feet, movement are the first things I look into. Okay. That's a fair point. But I will say this, Mike, and I don't want to sound like I'm raining on your parade. I found that if you try and get, say 10 things right, you're not going to get anything right. But if you concentrate on 3 things, you're going to get those tight, and then you can move on to something else. How do you guys approach this? Do you try to get all 10 things right from one shot, or you try to get 3 things at a time? How do you guys approach this?
They like I said, I got Bad Betty off of him, and I say she'll probably score about a 90, 95 every time she's in the ring. Just say out of 100. And when we made her up, depending on what we're looking for, we mating for the overall dog. So yeah, I'm trying to get it all at once.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I told Mike in whenever I was evaluating that litter when he took her. I said I got 3 things that I'm really looking for right now, and of all the 6 pups, she's like first or second in every category you could think of. And you could have had an expert like you, Raul, Chris. They, see what they like to look at. And Betty was the one I was able to present that I was most pleased in a total package on an American Bully.
Well, and this is why I love the way we've set this up, man, because I've always said no one out here, starting by me, is the sole owner of the truth. Everybody has a different truth and a different angle and a different way of doing things. They must be respected, and I definitely respect them. I can tell you when I first started out, I tried doing the whole get the 10, 12 things right approach. Here's the problem to that I saw. Mind you, I'm dealing with XLs. You guys are dealing with pockets. My biggest issue was all pups, I don't care who they are, either have or will end up developing a flaw or have a deficiency somewhere. Whatever that may be. You could have a perfect pup that looks great whenever he's stacked. The minute they start walking, they're kicking their legs out and you're seeing cowhawks, whatever. So my point is, when I tried doing that, what I found myself in was bringing in, we got Chris on board. Let me bring him on. And what I realized is we were bringing in more different flaws. And in the particular 3 areas that I wanted to concentrate on, every now and then I would have something missing. So I changed my strategy a little bit. And I said, rather than going after 10 things, these 3 things must be there. Everything else that I can get is gravy. When I started doing that, I started seeing cleaner fronts, cleaner top lines, better rear angulation, because those were the 3 things I was after, right? Everything else was just gravy, right? Once I got that established and I got various generations going in that direction, now we're pivoting. Now we're going to add head, we're going to add muscle, we're going to add mass, we're going to add. So again, we're going to go back to 3 things. Bring those things in already with what we currently have. Now, mind you, this is just my approach. You guys are doing great. You have grand champions after grand champions. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. It's just, I just prefer to kind of concentrate on the things I want right off the bat. Stick to that for a generation or 2, and then turn the page and go, just go after something else.
Yeah, Raul, I think what you're saying is great, and we've learned as we went. We were just looking for how would this pup do in the show ring, and now we've kind of expanded it out where now we're really looking for some bigger females that will help us propel us to another level of. And we still like the show dogs, but we might get there not using a dog and kind of the use of a brood stock female that provides us the things we couldn't get out of a sleek show dog.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's definitely it. Chris, go ahead. Go ahead,
I'm just
Mike.
saying we hadn't got to the point you got. The dog that I started off with, I didn't have to change nothing about. I didn't want to change nothing about that dog. And we were creating show dogs. Now we're getting into creating more mass and brood stock female where we can focus on 3 things now. So we hadn't got there. Like when we made it dogs and matched up, they were grand champion, the grand champion. You know what I mean? So in ABKC.
Okay. Chris, what is your approach, man? Are you looking for the perfect pup that's got 10 things that are perfect? Or are you looking for 3 things that must be there and everything else is gravy on top? What's your approach?
Well, my approach when it comes to breeding, my approach is to pretty much add whatever I need that my female is lacking. And I like the point you said about having a female that is like it's a bullier female, but also correct. So whatever she's lacking, I'm looking to add. So when I have a pup and I have a breeding, I'm looking for that pup or consistency. Number 1, I'm looking for consistency out of the litter, and then after consistency, then I'm looking for my particular picks out of the litter. When it comes to my particular picks out of the litter, I'm looking for those features, which is probably going to be bone. I'm going to be looking for bone. I'm going to be looking for a headpiece, and I'm going to be looking for body. not so much thickness, just like at the width of the dog. And like you said, weighing the dogs from when they're little helps out keeping track of which ones are going to be the heavier out of the breed. Now, I don't always, the biggest pup out there is not always the best pick.
No.
Right.
You know, so that plays a factor on only at a certain amount of limitations on it. But as far as my top 3 things that I'm looking for sure is head bone, and I'm looking for a little bit of girth, and structure. I guess 4. So structure would be my number 4.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So basically, the way you're doing it is you're building up off of your female. Whatever she's lacking, that's what you're going to get off of your males, right?
Yes.
And
That's
yeah,
excellent.
once you outproduce her, I guess those needs are going to change as far as what you're going to need from males. Is that correct?
Yeah. Man.
You got it. Money.
Okay. I kind of like I like that approach. It kind of entails both the way I'm doing it and the way you guys are doing it, and it's very effective. I definitely breed off of females as well, exclusively. Nothing wrong with building it around a male, guys. It's just my approach to things. Real quick, guys. Definitely, let me just go ahead and drop this real quick. Guys, real quick, let me talk to you about Nuvet and New Joint Plus. This is a multivitamin. This is joint support. Many people out here have done before and after pictures showing you the improvement that this alone brings to the table. If you're feeding kibble, if you're feeding raw, there could be some insufficiencies that are actually causing structural issues to your dog. Wouldn't you want to correct that? This is just it. The multivitamin that'll do it for you is Nuvet and also joint support with New Joint Plus. I recommend both bottles. We're going to go ahead and leave a link in the descriptions below. Now let's get back to it. All right, guys. Real quick, I want to hit up on something because coincidentally, we just heard a commercial. Chris, I muted you for a second. Whenever I ask you something or whenever you come in, I'll unmute you. Okay? It's just that I'm getting a little bit of feedback in the background. We just did a Nuvet commercial, and if you look at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see Nuvet, New Joint DS. It's the only multivitamin and joint support we use. You can see our ordering code and whatnot. What I want to ask you guys is how important is supplementation or multivitamins or any of that? Would you say how important that is to puppies and their development when they're younger?
You go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
So I believe it's very essential for the puppy's development. Puppies need a certain amount of calcium. Certain puppies need a certain amount of omega-3s, different vitamins to help them develop, to make sure they're maturing properly, growing properly in the right areas, because they're going to go through different type of changes. Like I said earlier, your puppy's going to go from being really thick and really full and looking real good, and then all of a sudden they're going to go through a height change where they're going to thin out. They're going to get taller. They're going to start spreading out again. Then they'll get thicker again, and then they'll start spreading out again. So they're going to need those essential vitamins. They're going to need to be dewormed properly. Okay. They're gonna need to be dewormed properly. They're gonna need those vitamins and everything like that. So.
That's fair enough, man. I've seen a lot of people run into trouble. Yeah, I hear a cat in the back, man. And I hear them meow every now and then. What I'm saying is, I've seen people ruin a litter because they've been wanting to add more weight than the puppy could handle. There's no supplementation, and the main feed is just kibble, right? Which we all know adds extra carbohydrates to dogs that are carnivores. So you can only imagine that's like feeding a parakeet a steak. You know, it's not going to process it as effectively. Real quick, we have a question over here by Quicktown Dogos. And Chris, this is going to be good for you to answer, man. And you too, Mike and Donald. It says, Quicktown Dogo says, do y'all feel a good handler is more important than the dog itself?
Say that question again.
The question is, do you feel a good handler is more important than the dog itself? What's more important, a good dog or a good handler?
The good dog, man. A good dog.
Okay. How
Because
about you, Chris?
I think a good dog. And I'll explain my reasoning. A good dog is going to make it easier for the handler. It'll be a lot easier for the handler to present the dog a lot better, more than it would be a handler trying to correct a dog that has a lot of flaws.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
There's a hard challenge when it comes to a dog that has more flaws than the dog that does not, trying to correct it in the ring. There's a lot of factors that go into it too. Trying to get the rear down if your dog has a high rear. Trying to offset balance of the dog because his balance is off because that leg is a little bit more stiffer than the other dog, the other leg on the other part of the dog.
That's right.
Trying to pull a dog forward to get that roach out of there, it's better to have a good dog than a better handler.
All right, no, fair enough, man. I'm glad you broke it down the way you did. We got Donald Gaines over here showing off. Who do we have there, Donald Gaines?
Oh man, we got Big Blue Boy.
Big Blue Boy. So do you? Nah, never mind. Talk to me about this boy, man. What are you seeing in this boy that is causing you or to catch your attention? Is he a possible keeper? Talk to me.
Man, this boy has really shown good attributes from the first. I mean, he was not always the most huge, but then once they started eating, particularly they start getting on mush, he really grew, and he just gets better and better each day. And this is exactly what we're wanting a pup to look like. This is what we wanted out of this breeding. I mean, the dad is a big boned up dog, and man, seeing if he could reproduce himself, and everything about this dog seems just right on time.
Man, I really like Chris. What are you seeing on this puppy, man? What do you see on this pup?
So exactly, I see exactly what I was talking about earlier. My 4 essential things. Like I said, head, the bone on him is really nice. His structure is really nice, and he has that girth on him already. And he carries it on a clean frame.
Yeah.
And you can, and this, I'm not, this is not me dogging the other puppy that was on the picture that we saw early on the side stack.
No, sure.
The difference is I see not way more, but more anglicization on this pup in this picture than I did with the other puppy in the other picture on the side stack.
How old is this puppy, Donald? Because in all fairness, this puppy is older.
Right at 7 weeks old.
7 weeks.
Oh, he's two more weeks old. Okay.
Yeah. That's why we're seeing more angulation. Definitely, and I definitely agree with you. The puppies that were shown were a little bit more compact, but that's because of their age. The length of the bones are not. It's not there yet. I mean, they're just younger. This puppy is just amazing to look at, man. The minute I see him, it's just, I mean, all the way around. We did have a question over here, and Felipe Hernandez is asking, Rondon, is bad temperament a deal breaker for you? So let me ask you first, Mike.
Yes.
So you got a pup that's got everything you want, but he wants to fight every other dog out there. Is that a deal breaker for you?
Not as puppies. That'll take a little longer. I think the temperament, once you get the dog in the house, he's fitting into your lifestyle. There's some things that you'll notice, like maybe a pup shy off to the corner, or a pup that's not confident. That's a deal breaker for me. But an aggressive pup, like over aggressive pup, I just see if that's puppy play, or is that aggressive, being aggressive, and that is a deal. That's a deal breaker.
Okay, how about you, Chris? Is temperament a deal breaker for you? And what are you looking for in temperament for it to be a deal breaker?
I have to agree with Mike on that one, just because a confident puppy, which is really a dog, a puppy with drive. It don't have to necessarily be aggressive for me, but it does have to have that drive, like they get up and go. Like it's harder when you when you see the puppies, they're already giving you their personality. Because they're, like he said, there's dogs that are standoffish. There's dogs that are just kind of lazy. They're just big puppies and lazy. And then you got some dogs that are some puppies, like they're big, but they have some drive. They got some drive to them. They like to play. They're always the one in the playpen that's moving around a lot, introducing, mixing it up with the other puppies. So that's what I like to see.
Okay, well, that's fair. I can tell you guys, for me, definitely temperament is a deal breaker. I do believe that you can see traits, the unwanted traits, at a very young age. I would say anywhere between that, whenever they're in the bite inhibition stage, between 5 and 10 weeks, I think you could see a lot of that puppy's makeup. I think you guys hit on something that I totally agree with, and that is that if a pup is confident, that's what I want to see in the puppies. If I see a puppy that's timid and he's out there in the corner compared to everybody else, that's an immediate red flag for me. We're definitely going to be doing, behavioral tests. We're going to go ahead and drop pots behind them when they ain't looking to see how they react. The two things I'm looking at is that one pup that's going to run all the way back, and the other one is the pup that's actually going to go attack the pot you just dropped, because either thing is not a good thing. But definitely, I agree with you guys. Confident pups are pups that are going to handle themselves correctly out in public, and they're not going to be. I've always been told that there's two types of dogs that will attack, and those are the ones that are aggressive naturally, and those that are scared or timid. These are things that are going to cause for them to attack. Now, hold up, we got Mike, we got Gaines. What you got over here, man?
So we brought a little female out. Let's see. Let me put her right here real quick. Just kind of let them walk into their stack.
Okay.
We'll let them walk into it, and then we'll make adjustments. But
very nice. Look at the
female
on her. Look at her top line. Look at the short back. Look at the elbow to chest ratio. Look at the stop. Look at the top skull on this. Bring her forward a little bit. Let me see that neck. I want to see that bull bulge on the neck.
Okay, hold on. Let me get it up. Turn this one. Here we go. Let's see if I can get it. Is it camera turned right so you can see it?
Nah, it isn't. You're gonna have to put her legs closer to Donald. Yeah, and bring the front legs closer to the camera.
Okay. You talking about there?
That's a little too much. Go back a little bit. Right there. Now go ahead and do it. We should get a bulge. Yeah, it's there. It's just we're having a hard time seeing it. You got to bring her. Yeah.
It's there. Let me turn her this way. Let's try this.
We're showing you guys what the ABKC standard is on the screen, so that when you see the puppy, you can see what we're talking about, from rear angulation to top line, and the neck. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. And this is a female, you say?
It's a female.
Man, she is looking phenomenal. Do you have a name for
her? We watch them a little bit. The ones, so she's gonna be one of the keepers, but we watch them for a while, and then to do our final, they get a name at the end if we gonna keep them.
I got a nickname right now.
You see, you picked up on my little subtleness. That's why I was asking, what's her name? If you had a name, then I already knew what that meant, man. But no, excellent pups, man. Thanks for bringing them out. We do have a question here. I'd love for each one of you to answer. And it says, can you build confidence in a puppy? And if so, how do you do it? Anyone wants to take a crack at that?
You could socialize a puppy, but building confidence, That's just something like Chris said that you'll see in the pup. That's one of the traits that you're looking for, especially being in the show ring, man. So we got pups that you can throw anything in front of them, like a stack box, an obstacle for them to climb, and we test them that way. Some pups will shy away from it. The other ones will climb it and get over it. So we got 7-week-old pup that can walk on a stack box. That take a lot of confidence in a young puppy. But no, you can't. You can socialize a dog, but you can't build confidence.
I disagree with you, but I'm gonna let Chris.
That's great.
I'm gonna let Chris. I'm gonna let Chris answer that. Chris, can you build confidence in a puppy, and if so, how do you do it?
So I'm in between with that question. Let me tell you why. So I've had dogs that were just too far gone when I got my hands on them. When it comes to socialization, there are some dogs that I have built confidence inside for the show ring. So I'm half and half with that question because it just depends on the dog. Right now I have a dog for my kennel partner, and he is a little bit standoffish, but the more he gets into the ring right now, he is definitely starting to like be more comfortable.
Show the confidence,
yeah, he's starting to be comfortable, and he's starting to be more present as far as his gait goes. Because what the issue was, he would stack, he would be good, and he would go down and back, and he would be fine. But when you go around the ring, because there is music at these shows, and that there is a crowd at these shows, he would hear that blare of the music, and he would just stop, and then he'll kind of like just start walking sideways, and because he's trying to get away from it. So, but every time we go back in the ring and we step back in the ring, now he's like, so what I'm doing at home, not every time we go back in the ring we get a little bit better, but now what we're doing at home is now I'm playing loud music while I stack. I play loud music while we go around in a circle. You know what I'm saying? So that way, when he does hear the blare go around, now he's like, okay, it's getting normal to me.
Hey, no, I totally agree with you on that. In fact,
I'm gonna say this though.
Okay.
A dog that can be socialized, a dog to be confident in the ring is totally different. So when you see like Bad Betty, for example, that's our national winning grand champion female. When she get in the ring, her chest is up, her head out. She is in a not just a good gait, but a prance. It's just a whole different, and she's looking up at me and just so confident. Now we got other dogs that are confident too, but don't have that same amount of confidence, right? So she got that drive and able to put it into that confidence. So with a dog that don't quite have the confidence that you're gonna build up the confidence would never look like that ring dog that have that confidence. I think they look totally different.
I think what we're trying to talk about here is every dog you can build confidence in the dog depending on where they start. And we're talking about a dog that was just born with a little higher level of confidence than perhaps his litter mates were born with. And,
sure.
I think that's the difference. That sure, you can make your dog more confident. You just got to take him places, love on him, like Chris was alluding to earlier. Was sometimes you're trying to make up for so many mistakes. You might make that dog a little more confident, but not to the level that you're going to need it to do real great show work with.
Okay, fair enough. I can tell you guys this, and I'm going to come from a totally different angle that is not in the ring. I don't know if you guys are aware, we've actually rescued 4 dogs. 3 of them are out in the kennel area. One of the dogs I rescued, the last one, is this white dog. I call her Blanca. She's very skittish. I don't know what happened to her. What I have found throughout time is routine makes dogs confident because they don't need to guess what is the next step. They already know what's coming.
Right.
And therefore, that builds a certain level of confidence. Now, as far as the ring, I'm going to let you guys elaborate on that more than me because I'm not a handler. I don't take dogs in ring, right? But I can tell you, whenever I've had a dog that has lacked a little bit of confidence, I notice once they get involved into the routine we have in the yard, confidence levels automatically rise because they know they don't have to guess. The guessing is what makes them anxious. It makes them nervous. It makes them lack confidence.
Right.
Whereas if they know what the next 2 or 3 steps are, that's where, they're confident about it. Go ahead, Mike.
Now, Chris shows multiple dogs, multiple breeds, right? And when you're able to take a confident dog that can go from this person to that person and still perform in the ring, that's the type of confidence I'm talking about. Now,
Right.
you take a dog that's used to routine over and over and over, and he's comfortable with you as the handler. But I'm talking about a dog that I could put in anybody's hands, somebody had never showed a dog before, and that dog gonna perform. That type of confidence.
Yes.
And that's what I was gonna get to. I kind of see where you were coming with that, and I give you the what you say you're female, Bad Betty. I definitely agree with that because I remember when Ryan had this dog named King Leonidas, and his show presence was just so crazy to a point to where this dog would just like literally be like half a step off, and he would put his foot back in place and like Ryan wouldn't even have to touch him. He knew to put his foot back in place.
Yeah.
He knew to put his that's the type of confidence he's talking about. Mike Green is talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
The dog knew, hey, my foot is off by an inch. I need to go ahead and put that foot back and be on point for my owner because we know this is what we're supposed to do. But I also agree with him too.
Okay.
Saying repetition is what got that dog to that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the fence here, But I know what Mike is talking about. It is two different types of things.
Yeah, I think there's 2 right answers there.
Right.
It is two right.
Couldn't it be that they're both right? Because if you have a dog that lacks confidence, you need to build confidence first, right? In repetition, and then you can graduate to the next step, which is where the dog is so confident that he can go with somebody else in the ring, right? But if you have a dog that's somewhat lacking confidence, forget about throwing him in the ring from the get. He's going to crash with somebody else that isn't, say, its usual handler. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yes.
It does make sense.
That
Like
does.
if Chris is training a dog and he's training my dog and he gonna get more out of her. She's comfortable with him, you know what I mean, and feel that she get a confidence in him.
Yes.
Right. And I own the dog and I go out take the ring and I couldn't get the same performance that he can get out of her. But yeah, I absolutely agree.
His words, the mannerisms, so on and so forth. Now, if you have a dog who you built their confidence and you've also had repetition of going in the ring with different people, the dog already knows what it is that's going to be asked of them when they go in the ring.
Right.
So they'll start ignoring the different mannerisms. They know, okay, here's where I'm going to stack. Here's where I'm going to prance, so on and so forth. Real quick, Exile Oasis Bullies is asking, what's the latest that you can start stack training, and do you think there's a time that it's too late to start?
No, never a time that's too late. I mean, long as the dog is eating, it should be driven to perform and please you. So no, never. It's just fun. I mean, you can start with your old dog. It doesn't have to be a bully. You're getting better at it as you go. Never too late.
First of all, you need to know what you're doing and what a proper stack is. I think that's most important, is knowing what that proper stack is, because you can just grab a dog and stack it. Yeah, you can go through the motion. I look in the ring and I look over and I know somebody going through the motion versus going against Chris. Okay, they're not in the proper stack. I'm looking at dogs that I automatically eliminate. Okay, I'm only dealing with 2 people in this ring today. You know what I mean? But
Good point.
I wouldn't. I mean, just to create a bond with your dog, I wouldn't even get in stacking an older dog or putting an older dog in the ring, like what the purpose of the stack is. But if it's just to bond and learn, you got an older trained dog that listen like a 3-year-old, it'd be fun to do to use to, maybe train something a little younger. I don't know.
That's a very valid point. I have found, and again, not with show training, okay? I have found that, and this is why I have kept my eldest female in the kennel area. Not only does she whelp litters for me and whatnot, but this girl right here, Mama Aruba, what she does is I will grab a pup, throw it in there with her, and she's going to show them the ropes, right?
Yep.
So whenever I give Aruba a command, she follows it. What does Puppy do? Puppy just looks at whatever she does and she copies and repeats. Does that work for the show ring for you guys?
I was just talking to Chris about that. That is so crazy.
Just talking to me about that.
Yeah, that is so crazy. That's exactly right. And I told Donna, I don't understand. These puppies are watching. They want to they're like, oh, for instance, I take the puppies at 8 weeks on walks around the block with the bigger dogs with a collar on, dragging a leash, and that's just to get them leash trained. But then after a week of that or 2 weeks of that, I'm picking up the leash and putting tension on. But they're walking and happy, the tail wagging. I'm watching, if they're happy and confident, because in the alley behind out there's dogs barking. How they reacting to that? So just constantly evaluating that. But then when I put them on the stack box, the bigger dogs, like I use stack box just even on the bigger dogs, we got bigger stack box, mostly groundwork, but the puppies are watching the bigger dogs on the stack box and just observing. And it's crazy that I like, Donna, these puppies are picking this up, man.
That's how they learn. That's how they learn, man, from watching. This is why I have always said, whenever you bring a dog into the yard, if the dog has bad habits, you better be dominant on this dog. Otherwise, that's going to spread like wildfire to the entire kennel.
Yeah.
You sound like you got some experience with that, Mike.
I had a digger, man. And I had a puppy out there. Next thing you know, I got 2 diggers, man. So, yeah.
I'm gonna say that diggers are the worst problem you can probably have when it comes to they will teach the dog in like 2 days how to dig properly and get out of where they need to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
It's funny y'all say that, man, because this same female I got, Mama Aruba, became a digger after I let her do whatever the hell she wants to do, and now I have a digging issue in my yard right this minute because of her. But they ain't nothing I can do. She ain't going nowhere. She retired here, so
yeah,
I'm gonna have a heck of a hard time teaching her, man. One thing I want you guys to relate. Like, I know you guys know the ring like the back of your hand. What are some of the commands you don't want to teach puppies? I've heard from people that take dogs into the ring, never teach your puppy to sit. How do you guys feel about that?
There you go.
That's the number one rule that I tell my clients. Please do not teach this dog to sit. Do not teach the dog to sit, because as soon as you present a treat in your hand like this, they're going to sit down.
Right. So let me complicate it, man, because I'm sure there's plenty of people out here watching us right this minute whose puppy sits when he needs to be stacked. How do you fix that?
So I'll start with this. I've corrected it a couple of times. So what I ended up doing was, and like, again, every dog is different. I will be the first to tell you every dog is different. So I can't say this is for every dog, but I will say it has proven for me to fix the sitting by repetitiously. As soon as I present the treat, that when the dog starts to sit, I move the treat forward.
Okay.
So as soon as the dog starts to sit, I move the treat forward and start over. Because now they know I'm not going to get the treat till I continue to stand up. Or if that doesn't work, then I'll as soon as the dog goes to sit, I will put my foot in place to where they feel pressure, and then now they stand back up. Now,
where do you put your foot where they're going to feel pressure? Are you putting it in the back paws and the front paws? Talk to me.
So it would be right underneath between their basically between their pelvis and their stomach, so that they feel the pressure of there being something there, so they really can't sit down. Now, puppies usually are more like what I say. They're more likely to feel it and stand up. Older dogs, they get kind of scared a little bit, kind of because they're older and now they're like, okay, why are you doing this, But puppies would be like, oh, something's there, I'll stand back up, because they're impressionable. But for sure, the moving the treat forward when they're about to sit, like soon as you see them about to sit down, you just move forward.
Right.
Once you move forward, they understand, like, okay, after I do it so many times, maybe he don't want me to sit down. Maybe he wants me to lean forward and come get the treat and stay and stack, So that's
have you ever tried, and again, bro, this comes from somebody that doesn't do all the stack training and whatnot that maybe you guys do. Have you ever tried 2 different treats? Like, let me give you an example. I've had chicken and bacon, and I realized bacon trumps everything. The fat content in the bacon, I guess, tastes better. I don't know.
So
it really doesn't matter. If the chicken is better, then if the dog sits, he gets bacon rather than chicken. If he stays standing, he gets chicken rather than bacon. Would that type of concept work?
So my percentages on the treats right now,
yeah,
I would say freeze dried beef, chicken, lamb, whatever trumps a lot of other treats.
Really?
Hey,
freeze dried. All right, go ahead, Mike.
I never tried that or thought about that. That may be something I might incorporate in training. If I get the behavior that I want, they get a certain treat. I get the behavior I don't want, maybe do a different treat. You know what I mean? Something they don't like as much. But
yeah,
those freeze dried patties, man. I don't know what it is, but I can have a dog like just a whole piece of chicken. I mean, like not a whole piece of chicken, but a piece of chicken, a fajita chicken, or beef fajita meat or anything like that, and then they'll kind of like nibble on it. But when I pull that freeze dried out, it's a different action.
Right. You're right. I was in once in a while I got a bait bass. I want him on his tiptoes in the ring. I think when he on his toes, man, he at his best. I think we can really cause havoc when he's on them toes. So when he get lazy during say you get to the 3rd and the 4th show, been there all day, start to get lazy, I have to bait him to get him on them toes. And somebody had a freeze dry treat. I don't know if it was chicken or beef or whatever, but the liver
freeze dried liver treats.
And my God, that boy, he was like Jordan, man. He came on the tiptoes, man. That joke was like Michael Jackson.
Hey, it's the motivation, man. It's the motivation. So let me ask you guys, how many commands do you usually use with your dogs in the ring? Is it 3, 4, 5, 3 commands, Mike?
Yeah.
What are they?
Stay, wait, let's go.
Stay, wait, let's go. How about you, Chris?
So mine are a little bit different. Mine are gonna be up. So to make sure that they stay, or it'll be up or stack. I use different words for different dogs. So it'll be stack. And then it would be, come on, let's go, for like if we want a gate. And then my other ones would be op.
Yep.
And I say op a lot because if it's a dog I've never worked with before, then I'm gonna be like op, and it's like it's assertive op, and it means don't move. So I'm saying, like, slow down, don't move, pay attention, and then I present the treat again, and then they understand to stay in their stat.
Okay, good deal. How about you, Donald?
And just kind of a simple commands. I mean, we start the puppies with nah, and kind of throw a little growl in it, and it's just kind of our forever language we have with them. So if we're talking about our own dogs, then yeah, I mean that I'm not going to use a nah in the ring much with them, but I think through Alberta, CC Alberta Evans, I've learned with me. That means we're fixing to take off, with me, and then I'm a kind of a weight sort of a guy, and usually I'm giving the weight and the bait at the same time as I begin to hand stack.
I got the op too. I forgot about that one. And they use different ways, like Chris just said. One might be to slow down, and one might, you know what I mean. One might be like, "Hey, stay there." I'll say stay, but it might be op or now. You know what I mean? But like Donald said, man, we do animal what do you call that? Language.
Yeah, we got our own language.
We growl. We lean against the dog. Like say a dog that may want to try to dominate the dog, may pin him down and lay on top of it. You know what I mean? And
you said you growl at him?
I growl, yeah.
Let me hear a growl.
Nah. Hey, when I growl at them, I'm on their face, man. I'm like, and I'm staring at them. I'm like,
you letting him know. Damn, Mike, you made me have to move back there for a second. Listen, we got a question here from Michael Higginson, man. He's saying some people like for their dogs to constantly nibble to hold their attention in the ring, but I prefer not to let them have any of it until they do what I need them to do or what I need them doing. How do you guys feel about that, man? Do you prefer a dog to constantly be nibbling in the ring, or do you prefer to wait and give the dog the treat once he gave you what you wanted?
I know with the puppies, when I'm working with the puppies at first, I'm not sitting there giving them complete bait until I got them in a good position. I know I'm telling them, here, this is going to be real fun. I put them out there, but if they were in a bad position trying to sit, I'm not baiting them for that. I'm not giving them the reward for that. So I get them basically in the right position. Then the bait's happening, and then I'm evaluating.
It's just the level of training of dog, in the ring. Some people, they bait the dogs. There's nothing wrong with baiting your dog. You get in the right position, they're baiting. But I think the proper way is, I agree with him, where you can give it. So say this with my dog, I'll bait him, to make sure he on his toes. And I'll take that bait and I'll toss it in his face while we're waiting for the judge to evaluate. Once we go through the evaluation and get to the end, then I give him the bait. You know what I mean? But if he ain't getting on his toes, I'm gonna bait him to get him on his toes for him to look his best. So there's nothing wrong with baiting your dog, and it's just a level of training and understanding, I guess, with the dog. I see people bait and I see people don't bait.
Yeah, it should be, if that bait's in their mouth, they're doing something right. At that time.
Okay. Fair enough, guys. But listen, we've had one hell of a show. Let me bring in Mr. Hollywood Holland in the hit.
Making it happen.
So,
yes, sir.
Listen, this is a thing we do every time. So Hollywood is going to start the sign off. We're going to go with Mike and Donald Gaines, then Christopher, then myself, and we're going to make it happen. So Hollywood, make it happen, bro.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back at the queue, and we're catching you on the next one.
Donald and Mike.
Man, Donald Gaines.
Mike Green, Gaines Bullies, baby. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram.
Glad to be here.
Give me a growl. Give me a growl.
Nah.
All right, Chris, go ahead, man.
Hey, man, it's your boy Chris Nightingale, your favorite handler, man. I am so blessed to be on this podcast tonight, man. I really appreciate the invite. Till next time, see y'all next time. You have a blessed night.
Guys, you already know this is Raul from the Q, and we catching you on the next one.